sheets and it went to 4 million views in like a week. And
Wow.
then the company that makes those sheets bought it and it went to 13 million views. And it was about my sheets. And I really like the number was exciting, but I don't think I changed anybody's life. Like
Right.
the best case scenario, you have a new favorite set of sheets, but that's
Yeah.
not going to make you a better person. That's
Right.
not going to make you more confident.
Yeah, I get that.
And at that moment, I had hit those views that I wish I had, but it didn't do anything. I was like, "This
Mhm.
isn't fulfilling. This doesn't help somebody." I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, well, I was that sheets girl that really changed your life." It doesn't matter. But I've had videos that got 100 views, and I've gotten a DM saying, "Hey" so one thing I talk about a lot is I'm 5'9", and I've always been a larger person. Everybody in my circle is like 5'2", blonde, tiny, and petite. And I used to just feel like a tree in the worst way. Like, I was like,
Mm.
"Why am I so big?" And I
Mhm.
made a video about that, and this girl was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so much taller than all my siblings." And hearing you say that now you realize, like, trees are pretty cool. The
Yeah.
earth wouldn't look as good if we didn't have trees. She's like, "That totally made me think, oh my gosh, wait, my height is pretty cool." And that DM made my whole day. That's what I want
Mhm.
to do. I want
Mhm.
that person to feel seen. I want somebody who I always hated my freckles and now I love them. And I've had girls be like, "Oh my gosh, I love that you're sharing makeup products that don't cover my freckles." I'm like, "This is what I want to be doing." So
Mhm.
if it's one comment, it still mattered to that person. Whitney, I'm sure, doesn't remember the conversation we had, but it mattered so much to me in that moment. I had nothing happy happening right then. And she totally turned it around for me. So I think
Yeah.
about, I don't even know what I might say that might make a difference. But if it made a difference and that person is sitting there 3 years later going, man, that conversation really helped me, then
Mhm.
that's what I hope to leave in the world. Especially I have stepkids, but I don't have kids. Is like my legacy will be that I made that girl feel confident about her long legs or her freckles, and I love that.
Yeah, that's all that matters. I mean, and then the other competing thought is like, okay, I want to do this, but I have to make money. So that's always, difficult and throws some complication in it and like in your mindset. And you're like, should I do this? Can I do this? But back to kind of what you said about the DM too. I used to post a lot about mental health on on like an Instagram. I didn't have a lot of followers, like a couple hundred followers, but I would get DMs like every day, maybe multiple DMs every day. And just from people saying thank you, or people saying thank you for talking about my thing or something that somebody else has, or thank you for explaining this, like that you never know who you're helping. And then there's always those lurkers, those people who are like lurking and watching your stuff that you have no idea appreciate what you're doing. And every single person has something to offer because we all have our unique experiences and passions and feelings and oh my gosh, and knowledge and everything. Like, we both are talking about the same types of things, like confidence and stuff, but you have a completely different background than I do. And I mean, even you have freckles. I wish I had freckles. Like, I just, it's so important to be that person too out there as a content creator, talking about these things like that you're getting comfortable with or finally got comfortable with because you're like, oh, this person's like talking about it, like it's really okay. And I think
Totally.
height is one of those things for women, at least I feel like, is more difficult. I am not very tall. I'm 5'4". I'm not tall at all, but I'm 5'4". But I think tall people are beautiful. I wish I was taller. Like, it's just so funny that we can compare ourselves, but somebody else wants to look just like you or be
Totally.
in your position?
My mom always says, "I did that on purpose." When I went to have kids, I found a man that was 6'3" because I wanted you to be tall. And I'm always like, "But it feels like I'm a giant." My grandma's
Mhm.
4'11", she says she's 5'2", my mom is 5'1".
Oh my god.
And they're both pretty petite people. Like my mom, I think when she was fully pregnant was 130 pounds. I was 130 pounds in like 5th grade.
Me
Like
too. Yeah.
it just
Mhm.
wasn't the same. I don't have the same body shape as her, and I hated it for so long. And then she always would tell me, "I did this on purpose." Like, "You
Yeah.
look like this because of a choice I made because I wanted you to be taller than I am." And now I'm like, "Oh, wait, there's a creator called Adeline Morin. She's so, so fun. If you haven't seen her, if
No,
you're
I
having a
haven't.
bad day, she will make your day better because she has the most energy of any person I've ever seen in life."
Gotta write her down. Yeah.
Oh, she's so funny. And she was talking about she used to be very insecure and she was following all of these blonde girls. I believe she's Filipina, but she's following all these like blonde girls, blue-eyed girls, and she even has a YouTube video from maybe 7 years ago meeting with a doctor to get a cornea transplant to change her eye color. Like, she was that serious
Oh
about it.
my gosh.
And she, at one point, just started following girls that looked like her, and now you would think she's the most confident human. You would feel like there's no way this girl's ever not liked herself, but it's because she started following people that look like her, and that's something I had to do. I started following people that were curvy and figuring out, "Okay, like, what looks good on my body?" 'Cause, something
Mhm.
that looks good on my mom never looks good on me,
Mhm.
and I started following people with curly hair. I could never figure out my hair, and found out, like, how do I give myself a blowout that doesn't have so
Mhm.
much volume?
Mhm.
And when you start following people that look like you start feeling more confident, but also somebody needs to start making the content. So if I can be the girl that shows you like how to apply makeup for freckles or how to dress in specific styles when you have this kind of body, then I want to be that person because I couldn't find it at first. And it took me a while to find people that made me feel pretty and didn't make me
Mhm.
feel like, oh, I wish I looked like that.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh, I think we all struggle with that too. I was talking yesterday, her name's Kira, and we met years ago on Clubhouse. I don't know if you were on there, but,
I
and we
don't
would
think so.
yeah, we would talk about, like, body image a lot, and yesterday we talked a lot about curating your Instagram or your social media to people that don't trigger you,
Yeah.
and triggers are obviously different for everybody, but for some people, it's the content, like, the things that they talk about. Some people, it's just what they look like or the things that they post, and it really does make a difference because the more that your brain is seeing things that, you're self-conscious about, it just doesn't make sense anymore to be self-conscious about those things because you're like, "This is normal," instead of just exposing yourself to all of
Absolutely.
this other stuff. And yeah, and even with just your mindset, like people in your life and online, like that stuff really matters. And if somebody's making fun of themselves, even, or making fun of other people, or just self deprecating people, like that will always impact you, whether you want it to or not. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it really is about like the people that you follow. And I think we're both there. Like, we want to be those good people that people want to follow, you know? So, when you got into content creation, like, did you have any other goals except for you want to be like a million followers on YouTube? Like, what were your big goals that you had?
My big goals have always been friendship. I
Mm.
love having girlfriends. FaceTime. I have 2 girlfriends specifically that we're on FaceTime all the time. And my best friends live in California and North Carolina. So like we're not seeing each other all that often, although I get to see both of them in August. I'm so excited.
Ooh,
But
fun.
we don't see each other that often, and it can totally turn your day around when you're stuck at work and not having that much fun if you get 15 minutes with your friend. And I think the same can be said about social media. Is even like Tess, who we both follow, sometimes I'm like in a rut working. I do UGC as well, so sometimes creating content is just a job, and
Mhm.
I'll be doing that, and I'm like, "Ugh, I'm so frustrated." I'll hop onto Tess's page just for a little spark of inspiration, and I'll go back to work being like, "Oh, yeah, this is fun. I like doing this. Why am I complaining?"
Yeah.
And so it was always about the friendship for me.
Mhm.
Um, I also really like to have experiences, and I do a lot of weird stuff, and I think it's fun to share it because I'm doing
Mhm.
things that maybe some people wouldn't do or aren't in the place to do. And I'm like, "Hey, even if you're not gonna do it, here's me doing it." Like, during the pandemic, my husband and I, we were engaged at the time. We decided, since we were both he was laid off at that point, we were like, "Let's go on a road trip." And we drove to 46 states, and we slept in our car. It was the cheapest
Wow.
trip ever, but we went to 46 states, and when we came to Arkansas, we had no intention of moving here, but we've been here for 3 years. We just stayed.
Wow.
And
Yeah, wow.
I don't think most people would, during a pandemic be like, "Let's get in the car and just drive around and see some stuff." And we literally didn't go in anywhere. We weren't exploring a whole lot. We just drove around, we saw a lot of things. Drove
Wow.
to a lot of waterfalls, drove down the Columbia River, and it was beautiful, and
Wow. Yeah.
we
That's cool.
love that kind of experience, and we're pretty spontaneous people. We're pretty adventurous, so I'm like, "Let me just take some people along for the ride."
Yeah, I feel like that would be so cool to watch. And that's the cool part of social media too and like content creation is you can get like a look inside of these people's lives who you never would have. Like it's just weird to think about that not being accessible as us now. Um, but that's really cool. I feel like you could definitely talk about that a lot and like your experience with that and why you did it and all kinds of stuff. And your newest series we were just talking about, um, you said how to make your live your best life. What was it?
How to build your dream life.
How to build your dream life. So tell us about that.
So, 6 months ago, I was working in the tax industry still. I've never liked doing taxes. I'm very good at doing taxes. I've
Mhm.
never enjoyed it. I've worked at my dad's tax office off and on since I was, like, 18, and I'm 30 now. But when I moved here, I opened my own tax office, and I was working 80 hours a week, 7 days a week, all the time doing taxes and then just filming when I got home or filming when I could. And I don't like doing taxes. It's so miserable. I started this year at the heaviest I'd ever been and in a really low part of my confidence. And just overall, kind of feeling like my life wasn't giving what I thought it was going to give. And I told my husband in January, I was like, listen, by our first wedding anniversary, which is in September, I am going to be living my best life. Like, that has to happen. I can't spend our whole marriage being a lesser version of myself. And he was like, obviously, I want you to be the best version of yourself. That's why I married you. But he was like, yeah, let's do it. What do you want to do? And I told him, I was like, I want to quit doing taxes. And at first I was like, let me finish the tax season. Maybe I'll wait. And by February, I was like, no, I actually want to quit doing taxes right now, like in the middle of season. I don't want to do this. And I want to find workouts that make me feel good. I don't like doing HIIT. That's what I was doing. And I was just like miserable all the time. My muscles hurt all the time. And I was like, I want to figure this out. I was also at that time following a lot of fashion trends, and I could see in the mirror, like, this wasn't flattering me. It wasn't making me feel good. So I was like, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to change my life right now. And I've always been kind of a drastic person. Like, I will wake up, and that's how our road trip happened. I woke up one morning and was like, do you want to drive around the entire United States? And he was like, when? And I was like, tomorrow. I want to go right now. And even our wedding, we planned our wedding in like 4 weeks and we got married in Mexico. I was like, let's
Wow.
do this right now.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I want to change my life today. I want to start living a different life. So I took about 2 weeks to wrap up my tax business. I wasn't going to leave anybody hanging with like, I started the middle of your tax return. Bye. And I started trying out different workouts. I signed up for the Whitney Simmons Alive program. I tried Pilates. I tried all kinds of things, found something that worked for me. I ordered, and I totally didn't have the money to do this, but I ordered $3,000 worth of clothes on Amazon of every style. I had like cargo pants and scarf tops and like Sophia Richie style, everything. And I tried everything on and was like, okay, this does not look good on me. This makes me feel horrible. This makes me feel confident. This makes me feel confident, but like, can I wear this in public? And
Mhm.
I started figuring out okay, what do I want life to look like? And I would sit down every day and I'd write kind of a manifest